Let's talk about the giant panda. You know, that adorable, clumsy bear that seems like it's actively trying to go extinct. It's a living, breathing, biological puzzle that, honestly, shouldn't really exist. So, how is it still here? Let's get into it.
I mean, you hear some pretty harsh things said about them, right? This one's a classic. A lot of people see pandas as just, well, an evolutionary failure. A cute one for sure, but a clumsy, inefficient animal that's just not built to survive. But is that really the whole story?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Is the panda an evolutionary blunder, or is it a secret master of survival that's just playing a completely different game than everyone else? To figure that out, we have to start with the biggest, most confusing piece of the puzzle, what it eats.
Okay, so the absolute core of the panda paradox, the thing that makes you scratch your head, is its diet. Because from a biological standpoint, what this animal eats makes zero sense. Look at this. A panda's diet is 99% bamboo. Just bamboo. To give you some perspective, that's like if you decided to eat nothing but celery for your entire life. That's pretty much the panda's whole deal.
And here's where it gets really weird. Pandas are bears, right? So they have the digestive system of a carnivore. It's short, it's simple, it's built to process meat. But they're using that meat eater's gut to try and break down one of the toughest, most fibrous plants on the entire planet. It's just not the right tool for the job.
So what's the result of trying to digest bamboo with a carnivore's gut? Well, it's this number. They only manage to digest about 17% of the bamboo they eat. It is ridiculously inefficient. Almost all of it just passes right through them without giving them much energy at all.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. On top of getting almost no nutrients from its food, bamboo is also toxic. Yeah, it's full of cyanide compounds that would literally be lethal to most other animals.
So you have to ask, how is this animal even alive? It has the wrong stomach, it gets almost no energy from its food, and its food is basically poisonous. This is the point where the story stops being about failure and starts getting kind of brilliant.
Because it turns out the panda isn't an evolutionary mistake at all. It's a specialist. It's just playing by a completely different rulebook with some incredibly specific and, yeah, pretty strange adaptations.
First up, check this out, the pseudo-thumb. Now that's not a real thumb. It's actually a wrist bone that has grown out and evolved to work like a thumb. It's a custom-made tool designed for one job and one job only, holding onto bamboo stalks while they eat. Talk about specialized evolution.
Their entire life strategy is built around this low-energy food source. Step 1, you have to eat all the time. We're talking up to 84 pounds of bamboo a day. Step 2, slow everything way, way down. They have an incredibly slow metabolism to save every single calorie. And step 3, you gotta process all that fiber really fast, which means, you guessed it, pooping up to 50 times a day.
This totally reframes how we see them. You know all those videos of pandas clumsily rolling down hills? That's not them being clumsy. That's actually the most energy-efficient way for them to get around. They're not bumbling fools. They're masters of conserving energy.
And here's the kicker. This super specialized low-energy lifestyle, it was a massive success. For millions of years, pandas thrived. They had endless bamboo forests pretty much all to themselves. Their weird strategy worked perfectly. So if their biology isn't the problem, what is?
Because the real threat to the panda, the thing that pushed it to the brink, wasn't some flaw in its evolution. It was us.
This timeline really tells the whole story, and it happened so fast. Pandas used to roam all across lowland China, but as humans started farming and logging, their world just disappeared. Those huge bamboo forests were cleared out, forcing the last pandas into these tiny, isolated pockets up in the mountains. Their world literally vanished right out from under them.
But that's not where the story ends, not by a long shot. Faced with what looked like certain extinction, humanity decided to step in and launch one of the biggest, most ambitious conservation missions in history. And the situation was desperate. Today, there are only about 1,864 pandas left in the wild. That is a terrifyingly small number. It makes the 600 or so living in captivity absolutely crucial for the species' long-term survival. The global effort has been just monumental. China has set up more than 67 protected reserves just for pandas. Zoos all over the world are working together on these really complex breeding programs. They're even building what they call green corridors, basically planting bamboo highways to connect those isolated populations so they can find each other again.
One of the coolest parts of this whole thing is something called panda diplomacy. It's actually a brilliant strategy. China loans pandas to other countries as a sign of goodwill. In return, zoos pay these huge annual fees, sometimes more than $400,000, that go directly to funding conservation efforts back in China. And any cubs that are born outside of China eventually go back, which helps keep the gene pool strong.
And the result of all of this? All that money, all that science, all that global cooperation? This incredible victory. In 2016, the giant panda was officially upgraded. They're still at risk, but they are no longer on the absolute brink of extinction.
You know, in the end, the panda has become this amazing symbol for wildlife preservation. Its story is just powerful proof that when we actually decide to do something, when we really commit, we can turn things around. It's a hard-won symbol of hope, for sure.
Which leaves us with this one last thought to chew on. The panda wasn't an evolutionary mistake. It was a master specialist whose world was suddenly pulled out from under it. And its story forces us to ask a much bigger question about our place on this planet. When we push a species to the very edge, what's our responsibility?